Hey, 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 hey. Welcome to Sip and Save with Stephanie. So I didn't get my podcast ready, you all. So YouTube listeners, you're gonna hear me sing just one more time. So let me get myself together. Welcome to Sip and Save with Stephanie. How y'all doing? Woo! I'm doing pretty good tonight. Move my blanket out the way. I was wrapped up with my pajamas on, ready to uh, rest, ready to rest tonight. But we got Sip and Say with Stephanie. And you all got a lot of news to share with you tonight. But as always, tell me how you're doing. Like, how are you doing mentally? How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing physically? How are you doing socially? What's up? How y'all living? What's going on? How you doing? Like, I'm getting my sip early. I'm pouring my water from my big jug. And so y'all, whew, while I take a sip, y'all tell me how you doing. You can add it to the chat. You can add it to the comment section later. Just let me know how you doing. Mm. Y'all, I realized today, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm drinking more water than I've been drinking over the last few months. So I usually take my big water bottle to work. It's I think 64 ounces. I usually don't, maybe I'll get to around here, maybe a little bit less. Today, my bottle was almost empty. I had to actually refill my bottle before I left work, which to me was a check plus plus, and I'm drinking even more water. Of course, I'm going to the bathroom often as well, but I like to stay hydrated. And I think maybe with exercising, I'm losing more water. I don't, with my sweating and just losing more water, so needing to replenish more in. And then I'm doing my yoga practices during the day. Like I don't know if I told you all, I probably didn't tell you, but I am taking a chair yoga class right now. I'm getting certified for chair yoga. And I'm glad about it because y'all, it was tough getting up and down off the floor with my body weight. I'm working on it, y'all. You know, I'm doing my fitness. But even with my knees are not as strong as they used to be. I think once I get some of this weight off, my knees will feel a little bit better. But even having to stack blankets, I think just usually just one blanket. I would wrap a blanket, one of my like really soft. I can't think of the material. One of my more cushioned throws, I would wrap that up and put it under my knees to do some of the yoga poses like cat and cow. And yeah, so it was hard. So when the nonprofit that I received my yoga certification from, when they offered chair yoga certification, I was like, that's for me. And plus, some of my students have limited mobility. And so I wanted to not only do this class for me, but I wanted to do this class for them as well. And so I have loved it, y'all. It's been so good. So what I decided to do to get some practice in is to teach some yoga poses and classes at my job. And so I started it last week. This week is the last week. And if they want me to continue, I will try to work it in. But this time of year, all of us are very, very busy. And so I did it on Zoom for them because I had, all my colleagues that were all in different rooms, sometimes in different locations. And so a few of them did join me in person because we have some space in our office where was a little bit of room, so we were able to maneuver the chair yoga. And so I have really enjoyed it. It's been so exciting to me to be able to do the poses in my chair. And so what I decided to do, you all, because I did not yet have a speaker for August, we're actually going to do some self-care in August, which I might still give you some self-care tips, but I'm going to do some chair yoga for you in August for our virtual lifestyle series. I'm going to give you some chair yoga in August. I'll give you a little bit more information about that at the end when I go over the lifestyle series. But matter of fact, let me just go ahead and do it now. That way I won't forget to do it later. So last Thursday, Deaconess Tasha Owen, she was with us. She talked to us about not home ownership. Money matters. I went down too far. Money matters. Be smart about it. Y'all, if you did not if you were not with us live and you have not listened to the rebroadcast, you need to listen because it is good. She gave us some great, amazing, wonderful, practical tips that we can apply to our everyday life in order to be financially fit, in order to get our money right, get it smart, build a strong, good, solid relationship. Come on, somebody, with our money, y'all. She talked to us about matching our values and our goals to our money and our spending. Y'all, she talked about whatever you about to buy, them shoes, that outfit, that suit, that jogging suit, whatever you about to buy, you need to put that same amount of money into your savings account. So if you about to buy your $250 pair of shoes, you need to put $250 into your savings account. If you about to buy that $5,000 whatever, you put $5,000 into your savings account. Like, she laid it out, and it was, man, let me tell you, it was good, y'all. So if you have not listened to Money Matters, what was the rest of it? Be smart about it. Go with, it's right here on the Stephanie Humphrey channel. It's actually the video. It's the first video. Because it was the last live video, y'all. It is, I'm telling you, it is so good. And then we had a few questions at the end that may support you in your finances as well. So you all get you some of that, okay? So next month, May 11th, we're gonna have our Fit, Firm, Fabulous, and Fine, My Physical Health with Evangelist Darlene Jameson. In June, on the 8th, we'll have Home Ownership Basics It's Time with Reverend Savannah Adams. And July, we're gonna have a nutrition training. I haven't secured a nutritionist yet. So if you know somebody, like, put it in the comment section, add it to the live chat. If you're with me tonight, let me know if there's a nutritionist that you have in mind that could help us eat right, y'all. Come on, somebody. And so that leads me to tell you, my journey of not eating meat is still going. Like, it's going really well. Like, I love not eating meat. Now, sometimes, y'all, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. We're gonna get back to how y'all doing, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes when I see the burger commercials, like there's a particular steak company, I won't say their name over the air, but they were doing a commercial about their steak, about their burgers. I'm sorry, it's a steak company, but they were doing a commercial about their steak. And so they showed the steaks with different toppings, and oh Jesus, it looked so good. I didn't want one, but it did look good enough that I could have taken a little bite. Let's just, say how I'm feeling. But I really am doing well on my no meat journey. I've been eating some beans, black beans. I don't eat as many beans as I should do. Also, I need to really increase my protein intake. So if y'all have some ideas, some advice, some wisdom for me as I eat protein, or just to reestablish what proteins to eat, then y'all let me know, because this bean journey ain't it. I do love beans, but y'all, this bean journey, it ain't it, y'all. It ain't it. So I need some help. I need to do some research for myself, but I also would love some advice from those of you who have some ideas about how I still get my protein, but other than beans. Tofu, I haven't had tofu in probably over 10, maybe 15 years. So I will be willing to try tofu again. I don't even know if tofu gives you protein, I can't say, but I'll have to look it up. But I just need to up my protein. I feel that, and I know I need to, because I'm thinking about my diet right now, and I'm not incorporating protein into my diet every day, and I know that's not good for me. So I'm going to do some research, but if y'all have something, let me know. Add it to the live chat. If you're listening now, add it to the comment section if you're listening to the rebroadcast. Okay, all right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I had planned to give that announcement, but it's okay. I asked you at the beginning of the broadcast, how you doing? How you living, what's going on, and I did not give you a time to answer, a chance to answer. So let me know in the live chat how you doing. Let me know in the comment section if you're listening to the rebroadcast. Y'all, I feel I put black on because I feel like I'm in mourning. I feel like I'm there. There is so, not personal mourning, but just humanity mourning. There is so much going on in our world today, and there is so much gun violence happening in our world. I mean, y'all, the children getting shot in the head for ringing on doorbells. We're gonna talk about it. Children getting shot at for getting into the wrong car. Yeah, we're gonna. I got those few news. I got the news for that. I mean, gun violence is out of control in this country. It is out of control, and we're gonna talk about it. So I feel like I'm in mourning. Like I said, not personally and not for myself, but just for humanity, just for my sisters and brothers in the world, and in particular in the United States of America, because more. I mean, I got the statistics here in my notes, and I'm going to go over with you the hundreds, the thousands of deaths that we have experienced in the United States of America thus far in 2023. It is August 20th. We have already had more deaths than days in 2023. And it's disheartening and it's discouraging. And y'all, so that's how I'm doing. That's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like I'm in mourning. It does not have me depressed. It does not have me putting the covers over my head. I'm still getting up, going to work every day, still taking care of me, doing what I need to do to stay healthy, to stay well. But y'all, it's a lot. So how y'all feeling? How are you all doing? Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section. I'm sipping on water tonight. You all saw me pour my water, or maybe heard it if you're listening to the podcast, pour my water a little bit. I got my Stephanie Humphrey mug. I'm drinking on straight up water. And I know I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom in just a minute, but I'm gonna try to make it this broadcast. Because I've been drinking water since I've been home. So let me take a sip. So what are y'all thinking on? I forgot to put my rings on. Y'all, I don't know. I went through a period of not wearing anything but earrings, because I love earrings. It's just like that's the one thing I gotta have on. Like I don't feel as naked now as I used to going out of the house without earrings. I know about 2 weeks ago or so, I went out of the house without my earrings on, and I felt fine. It was just like, okay, well, it's fine. I didn't feel any way about it. But in the past, I would feel so naked when I didn't have my earrings on. But y'all, I love some hoops, my flat earrings I got from the accessorized shop. Y'all, I love me some earrings. And so I normally don't wear necklaces unless I'm dressed up for church or dressed up for an event that I'm going to. So I don't wear a lot of necklace sets or necklaces at all. And occasionally you'll see me wear a necklace here, like during my revival times and having evening services, you'll probably see me wear a necklace or a set. And so I hadn't been wearing rings. I got all of that to say about my rings. And so I hadn't been wearing rings, whatever. But y'all, over the last year, I got back into like a desire to wear rings. Like I got 4 rings on my bathroom sink right now that I need to put in my jewelry box. And so I forgot to put them on. So I feel that. Like I do feel a little naked without them. But over the last for a special event, I was celebrating myself. Sometimes you just got to celebrate you. So I was celebrating myself. And I went on my favorite shopping my absolute favorite shopping app. And they had they had a sale on their jewelry, and they had a few rings that I got that I wanted. And I kept looking at them. And when I shop, I look for days, sometimes weeks. So I've been looking at the rings, waiting for them to go on sale. They were on sale, but I wanted the price to be lower. And so I waited one weekend, and then I waited till the next weekend. And I think by the 3rd weekend, I was like, let me order my rings. So I ordered some rings for myself just to celebrate me, because I usually don't spend money on myself unless it's something I need. If I need some new clothes or underclothes or just something that I need, or buying some groceries, or maybe getting me, they have this vegetable Philly steak at a restaurant that I enjoy going to for my lunch break. It's a veggie. It's so good. It's got peppers in it, onions, mushrooms, and some kind of special sauce they put on. So I might spend some money on some food. But normally I don't buy myself things because I feel like I have everything I need. God has truly blessed me. I don't really need nothing, and but I was like, I'm about to just celebrate Stephanie. And so that's what I did. And they're so cute. I don't have none of them on tonight, but they're really cute. So anyway, I know y'all don't care nothing about that, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway. And so I just feel kind of bare without my phone. I said all that just to say that. So what y'all sipping on? I started to get some Scarbonog or some Muscadine, but I decided not to get any. Matter of fact, I haven't had any this week. I know 1 week, about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I think I had like 3 bottles in 1 week. I was like, I just need a woosah. I just need to relax. So I'm drinking on my straight up water tonight. I kind of wish I had some ice in it to make it a little cooler, but that's what I'm sipping on tonight. Ooh, y'all, let's get into this news. Y'all know I was watching Roland Martin Unfiltered before I got on, because y'all know that I like getting news from Roland Martin. Because he just gives it to us real. He just gives us the news, what's happening in the world as it relates to Black and brown people. And he keeps sometimes on Roland Martin's show, it's breaking news. Like right when I was listening to it, he shared a recording of, what's the young lady's name? She right here in North Carolina, y'all. And I'm gonna get some more information about her history. But her name is Cleta Mitchell, and she's on a recording. And you can listen, it's on the Roland Martin Unfiltered, his news, not mine. But he shared a recording about her talking about trying to decrease accessibility for college voters, for college students to vote. So I remember when I was in college and I first voted, and we voted right on campus, which I think most colleges and universities have have it set up where students vote right on campus. And so, man, she was talking about how can we decrease easy accessibility for college students to vote, because they know these college students ain't playing with them. A lot of these college students, a lot of young people, they're voting for representatives, for Senate, for legislators that have the best interest of everybody in mind, from climate change to abortion to whatever, all the issues that our legislators pass bills on or have bills introduced. They are fighting for equity. Excuse me. Ooh, for equity. I wanted to say equitability. That ain't no word. Equitable is the word. But they are fighting for equal rights for everybody, not just on paper, but actual real-time, real-life situations where there is equity for all, equality for all, equity for all. And y'all got to listen to that recording. Like, y'all. And Roland Martin, he has been talking about it for a while. I've been watching his show. For the most part, since he started it on the Black Star Network. I think I may have missed the first few shows, but for the most part, I watched it pretty much on and off, and now I'm watching it more consistently. I haven't gotten every day, because like tonight I'm on my show, but most days, Monday through Friday, with the exception of Thursday, I watch it before I come on, and then I'm not able to watch it until like I do the rebroadcast. But I'm watching his channel, and he's been talking about this for some time now, about, especially after the 2020 elections, and how college students and young people, as well as Black people, came out in record numbers to vote, in particular in the presidential election, and how Republicans did not like that because they do not want the interest of everybody to be at the forefront. They just want their issues to be at the forefront. They want the power to rule this country like they want to rule this country. And oftentimes that leaves out Black and brown people. That leaves out women in some cases. I know we have some white Republicans. I know there are Black, I didn't mean to say white Republicans. I meant to say women Republicans, and we know that there are some Black and brown Republicans as well. But the Republican platform, if you listen to their platform, if you listen to their talking points, they have the same talking points across the board. It don't change. Um, but they want the power to decrease and eventually eliminate any type of power from any other groups, especially brown and Black people. And also, even though I do not agree with the lifestyle of the LGBTQI plus community, I don't agree with their lifestyle, but I respect them. I respect every single person on the face of the earth. I respect you as a part of humanity. And should you be discriminated against? No, I do not believe your group, the choice of your lifestyle should bring discrimination, no more than I think my brown skin should bring discrimination. And so, so the LGBTQI plus community, they want to get rid of them, get rid of the Black and brown people. That's just their agenda. They want the power to rule this country in the way that they want to. Dang, I want to curse, but dang the Constitution, forget the Constitution. They want to rule it like they want to rule it. And so if you don't know that, then please open your eyes and pay attention to what's going on in the world. Pay attention to what's going, like, I know that we all live in our own states. I'm in the state of North Carolina. I respect that we all live in our own state. We're working and fighting and advocating for what's happening in our own state. For you all, what is happening in other states is oftentimes, depending on who's in charge, oftentimes trickles and infiltrates other states. For example, we're going to talk about it tonight. I can't remember I don't remember which state it is right now. Let me see, it's right here in front of my face. We're going to talk about it, but there is a state who, Florida did it. I talked about it a few weeks ago. I think maybe in February, I talked about how Florida, the governor has introduced, and I believe it got passed, I can't really remember right now, a bill to limit what is being taught in colleges and universities in Florida. Well, we have another state that has introduced a bill, and it's passed in the House to do the same thing. In North Carolina, there is a bill to limit what educators are teaching in the classroom. I'm gonna read it to you. I'm gonna read some of the highlights to you. So what's happening in one state often, especially if it's happening in a Republican run state, it often trickles to other states that are run by a majority Republican legislators. Let me get into this news. Let me get into this news, y'all, because I'm in mourning. I'm serious when I say I'm in mourning. I am in no way depressed. I feel good. I feel excited. I feel happy. But y'all, and you know what? All I can say is this: the Bible fulfilling itself. Oh my Lord, oh Lord. The Bible says in the end times, men will become lover of themselves. Oh my, as well as other things. I didn't get my scriptures tonight, so I will not bring those who have your Bibles turned to. I don't have it tonight, but I may end up doing a sip and say with Stephanie, or maybe one of the Bible study nights where we just talk about end time prophecy, where we just get into Revelations, get into some Old Testament prophecy and see what the Lord is saying, because this really is the end times being fulfilled. So I'm gonna get into this news. It's already 8 o'clock. I mean, it's already 7 o'clock. Oh, it took us a whole hour ahead. It's already 7 o'clock. So let's get into it. News. I have a lot of news, but I think I'm just going to highlight a little bit of each section. But you'll have the information enough where you can go and research these news stories for yourself. You probably already have the news. You might have more information than I have. Because I have so much, I wanted to keep each story as brief as I absolutely could. So I'm going to take a sip. I am gonna grab my glasses. I probably should clean them, but I'm gonna just put them on. Yeah, they good. Kind of, sort of. I don't know if I'm struggling because I need to change my light bulbs, or if I'm struggling because my eyes feel tired. Y'all know I do 97% of my work is on the computer. So I'm looking at a screen for the majority of my day. I do take walking breaks. I take breaks to do a little bit of yoga and mindfulness. I take a break to eat some lunch. So I do take breaks throughout the day, but 97% of my day. I'll say 95%, so the other 5% is for my wellness routine while I'm at work. Yes, I do wellness at work. I sure do. Because I have to take care of me. Because when I'm gone, they're gonna get somebody else. You best believe that. So I gotta take care of me on the job and off the job. That's a note for somebody. Take care of you on the job and off the job. So let me tell you about Ronnie Reed. I don't know if you have heard about Ronnie Reed. He is a young man, a Floridian. And you all, he was strip searched. I didn't even write down the day. He was strip searched. I feel like this happened a few months ago. And I'll try to look it up for you before I end the broadcast. Let me see if I can look at it now. But he was actually strip searched by the Jacksonville sheriff's office. He was on a public road, y'all. And I was watching the video while I was watching it, plus I was doing something else, but I watched it because I didn't think that they were gonna strip search. Like, I was like, you could see cars passing by, but he was on the side. It looked like, I don't know if they had pulled into like a parking area or what, but wherever they were close enough that I could still, in certain viewpoints, because the angle turned in different ways, but certain viewpoints I saw cars going by. And it was daylight. And they literally pulled this man's pants down on the side of the road. Of course, they blurred out his genital area and his anus area. I couldn't I couldn't believe it. Y'all know, I don't watch a lot of videos. Y'all know, especially if it's a video about gun violence. But I was like, that they're not gonna do this. They're actually gonna take him in and let the police officers, like in a privacy room, can't even get my words together because I'm just like in a privacy room at the sheriff's office or the police station or wherever where they normally would do a strip search if that's warranted. They strip he so yeah, so of course there was question about his constitutional rights, the Fourth Amendment about search and seizure, recognizing that Jacksonville does have its own title. What title is this? Let me see, 50, is this 57? Oh, I'm trying to get my Roman numerals right because I didn't look. So I think this is 57, Criminal Procedure and Corrections, Chapter 901, Arrests and Temporary Detentions, 901.211. So they have a section for strip searching. I think they're using A within this title where it says there is probable cause to believe that the individual is concealing a weapon, a controlled substance, or stolen property, and then it goes on to say, but you all, the reason why he was stopped and subsequently strip searched is because he was at a gas station. There was a woman in the car that he referred to as aunt, and I don't know, who else was in the car. But he was at a gas station where he was talking to an individual who had an interaction with the undercover cop. The undercover cop gave this individual $20 to buy drugs. He had some interactions. We know with at least Mr. Ronnie Reed, he did have some interactions with him. We don't know who else he had interactions with. But this person, unnamed person, eventually made his way back to, he probably wasn't, but anyway, he eventually made his way back to this undercover police officer with some drugs. So it was believed by these sheriff deputies or these law enforcement officers that Mr. Reed had drugs on him. They did not find any money or drugs on him in the strip search. And once they took him to the police station, once the report was filled out, the report indicated that there was no drugs or money on him. or at least it wasn't the $20 and drugs on him. It's interesting that in the police report that they did not indicate that they strip searched, but yet they got it on camera. Again, money nor drugs were found on Mr. Ronnie Reed. If I was him, I would sue. I know we shouldn't sue for everything, just like the person who sued McDonald's for burning. Y'all heard me say that, burning himself. I don't think they should sue, but they sued and won. So be it. They won. I, I feel like we do sue for some ridiculous things in America. That's just my personal opinion. But again, if the law says you can do it, and whatever, work the law, for you. But if I don't know if he's gonna sue or not, but I would. So they strip searched him right in the view of all the free world. And when you're in person, you can't blur pictures out. You can't blur your body parts being exposed to all the free world. So that's what happened. So y'all check the rest of that. There may be an update about that today. I didn't check prior to coming on the broadcast, so there could be an update on that as of now, but y'all check that out for yourself. And you can also, like I said, check out the Criminal Procedure and Corrections. It's chapter 901, arrest and temporary detentions, according to Florida code. I felt bad for him because as you're listening to Mr. Reed talk, he was compliant, but he did tell them to take me to, where did he say? He said, take me to where the police station or wherever. He was like, take me there and search me there. So he was advocating for himself to go to a place where he can be searched privately, as opposed to on a road in front of a woman he referred to as his aunt, and whoever else may have been in the car with them, and just people driving down the road. He did advocate for himself. Just take me to the police station or wherever he said. I can't really remember. I didn't write it down. And it was yesterday when I heard the recording on the Roland Martin Unfiltered. And so he was asking them to take me here so that you can search me, but they didn't. They searched him right there for all the free world to see. And so I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But so y'all, I know if I happen to follow up with the case and see what happened to Mr. Reed, I'll do that. The next Sip and Say with Stephanie. But if not, you all can get the information for yourself. You'll probably get updated before another Sip and Say comes about because of Bible studies. All right. So I feel my heart wow, I just couldn't believe it. And of course, he was a Black man. And the things that we see police officers and citizens do to Black people, we do not see this type of violence. We do not see this type of discrimination. We do not see this type of inhumane treatment with any other group of people, but people who have skin that looks like mine. We are the only group where there is repeated abuse of power, repeated killings, repeated discrimination, repeated instances of inhumane treatment with people who look like me. I mean, you talk about the trauma is real with Black people. It is real with people. I'm gonna just say brown skinned people who have skin that looks like mine. There is every single second of every single minute of every single day of every single week of every single month of every single decade of every single century, Black people have experienced trauma in this country. I have read different posts on news reports and social media of people saying, well, go back to Africa or go to Africa. Well, I was born here in the United States. I'm a United States citizen. So this is my home just like it is yours. And my ancestors built this doggone country. Now, respect to the Native American people and to the indigenous people, because this is your land. Truly your land that was stolen from you. It was. But the building of this country, capitalism, with the slave trade, with building up buildings. The White House, I'm thinking about the White House in particular. This country was built on the backs of brown people, with cotton, the cotton field. You have some bean fields, but mainly the cotton fields. So yes, so I'm not going nowhere unless the Lord tell me to, unless the Lord say, oh Jesus. Okay, what's next, y'all? Praise the Lord, Lord. There is a Tennessee bill that allows, so here we go right here. Here we go. Here we go right here. Y'all, before I get to this, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Talking about discrimination. Y'all, let me, if you don't want what you say to be heard or repeated, keep your doggone mouth shut. If you don't want the words that are coming out of your mouth to be repeated or recorded, keep your doggone mouth shut. So let me tell y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all this later, I'm gonna tell you right now. There was a secretly recorded, y'all, this story is not funny. It's, but y'all, the Lord, let me just tell y'all the story. The story is not funny, but there was a secretly recorded audio that was reported by the McCurtain Gazette News. This is a news outlet in McCurtain, let me say it correctly, McCurtain County, Oklahoma. Y'all, these three individuals, y'all, was having a conversation about hanging Black folk, beating Black folk, assassins that could quietly take care of whoever. The report said, I couldn't hear everything clearly because sometimes the individuals were talking over each other. And so I listened to the recording, but I didn't get all of the conversation because again, they were talking over each other. And so I typed in what I heard. And then you all can maybe look for the recording so that you can get, because your ear might hear clearer than my ear. But I listened to it twice. I was trying to catch some of the overlapping conversations, but I missed it. But the individuals who were allegedly identified as speaking on this recording is District 2 County Commissioner Mark Jennings, McCurtain County Sheriff Kevin Clardy, and Deputy Alicia Manning. Okay, so one voice I heard say, oh, well, I didn't write down, this is not a word for word, but this is just me writing down what I heard. So I did hear one individual talk, like I said, talk about beating a Black person and throwing them in jail, taking them down to the Mud Creek. I did hear Mud Creek, and taking a rope and stringing them up. Those were exact words that I heard. And then I heard the same voice also say 20 years ago, I would have, and then I missed what he said. I did hear one voice when the first voice was talking about stringing them, is what he said, up to a tree. Then there was a second voice that said, well, you can't do that no more. And then he was like, well, I know, but there was a woman that heard saying, they're insignificant in my life. They bring nothing to the table. And then this is where we talk about I said assassins, but hitmen, to me it's all, it's the same. I know 2 or 3 hitmen that would cut no effing, and he actually said the curse word effing, mercy in Louisiana. Then they would do things quiet. The rest of the conversation near the end, I couldn't quite catch it. Like I said, they were talking over each other, so I missed some of the conversation. But you all, since that recording was released to the public, County Commissioner Mark Jennings, he has resigned. If you don't want your words repeated or recorded, keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. Anywho, the thing about it, y'all, these conversations have been happening for forever. These conversations have been happening forever. and are still happening now as I heard on the recording. And I hope, if you want to hear it, definitely do a search for it and find it. Um, we just don't know it because individuals are talking in the safety of their own homes or in the safety of their, backyards or front yards or wherever. Um, it's interesting that it was said, I can't confirm this, so I'm gonna say allegedly that they were actually in a public building, like in somebody's office. So in the public building, a public space where they were working, allegedly. And that's the recording device, because I don't know what kind of recording device it was, but the recording device was left because there was suspicions of racist attitudes. And so that recording was actually left unbeknownst to the talkers. And so it was for all the free world to see. I mean, excuse me, not to see, but to hear, for all the free world to hear. So you all can look that up. The McCurtain Gazette News, they were the ones that reported this story. And yeah, child, go y'all, hey. All right, y'all. House Bill 1376. It is a Tennessee bill that allows students to report professors who teach quote unquote divisive concepts. Okay, it's House Bill 1376. I did read House Bill 1376, and it is very interesting, and it's not unlike the bill that was passed in Florida. It's not unlike the other. There have been 8 states. Let me see where I wrote it down. That has passed similar or is talking about similar bills to limit certain subjects that they consider divisive to be taught in schools. The one in North Carolina, I'm gonna have to look at it again because I read it a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, it was last month actually that I read it. But so I don't know if the one in North Carolina, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if the one in North Carolina is for K through 12 education or if it's for all educational entities. That I'm gonna have to check out. Let's see, I wrote down the states. I wrote down so many notes, you all. So let me see if I can see exactly where I wrote down the states that are having conversations about passing bills like this or who have already passed bills like this. I know Idaho is one. I know Iowa is another. I remember West Virginia being one. I want to say Rhode Island. Yep, I remember it correctly. Oklahoma, New Hampshire, and Louisiana, and Missouri. So those are 8 states that we know of that are, and probably more that I don't know, but I know these in particular that, and we know what Florida did, that are having conversations or have at least introduced legislation that limits conversations about racism, about sexism, calling these particular subjects divisive. And so you all, I get a weekly news update from Education. I think it's called Education News. And so this the website keeps me abreast of different bills that are happening in North Carolina and then across the United States of America, as well as other legislation or concerns or happenings as it relates to education. And one thing that they noted within the bills that are being introduced, the language is about the same. And most of these, actually, let me make sure. If I'm not mistaken, all of these states are Republican led. And so some of the language that remains the same or that's consistent, and I'm going to read it to you in a minute, but the language that is consistent in these bills that are introduced is that one race or sex is inherently superior to another race or sex. That is considered divisive and should not be taught. That the US or specific states are fundamentally racist or sexist. that individuals, because of their race or sex, are inherently oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously, that individuals bear responsibility for actions committed in the past by members of their same race or sex, that anyone should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress because of their race or sex. Those topics are considered divisive and should not be taught in educational settings according to the bills that are being introduced. I Look, you're about to hear about the same language. This is Tennessee. Make sure I got my state right. And so it's the Tennessee Higher Education Freedom of Expression and Transparency Act. I'm not going to read, I do have the whole bill in front of me, and I'm not going to read all 16 of the highlights of this particular bill, and then there's other subsections that's available, but you can actually look this up for yourself. Again, it's House Bill 1376, the Tennessee Higher Education Freedom of Expression and Transparency Act. So a few of the highlights are as such. So let me read what it says. It says divisive concepts. This is the bill summary, divisive concept. Under present law, the following concepts are defined as divisive concepts. One race or sex is inherently superior or inferior to another race or sex. Y'all, they use it. They use the same. The Republicans, what I've learned is that when they are talking about issues, they use the same language. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because when I was in the classroom, me and the teacher that I work with, we spoke. We would tell the kids, me and this we speak the same language. What one teacher say, the other teacher gonna say, because we work together as a unit. We work together as one. We speak the same language. So I'm not mad at the Republicans for speaking the same language because their playbook is on lock. Like their playbook, they work their doggone playbook, and I'm not mad at them for working it because they act as one. One thing I can say about the Republican Party, they act as one. They do. Do I like some of their stuff? Some of their thoughts, some of their ideals? No, I do not. But they do work together as one. They talk the same language. They speak the same language. So anyway, that's one of them. An individual should not, the divisive concept is an individual should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment because of the individual's race or sex. An individual's moral character is determined by the individual's race or sex. An individual, by virtue of the individual's race or sex, bears responsibility, yes, for actions committed in the past by other members of the same race or sex. Y'all know what y'all great grandparents did. Y'all know that y'all ancestors bought and sold and had enslaved people. Should we blame you? No, no, no. But doggone it, it happened. And your history is your history. The good, the bad, the ugly, oh my. Your history, your family history is your family history. Some of our family history is ugly. Yes, I said ugly. I made up a new word, not ugly, but ugly. Some of our family history is ugly, is demonic, is dirty, is filthy, but it is what it is. Just because my ancestors did a thing, don't mean I got to do that same thing. You know, your great grands had enslaved people at the house. I mean, on the plantation, at the house, at the wherever, they had enslaved. I mean, just it is what it is. I mean, I shouldn't say it is what it is. That's not the right thing for me to say. So I retract that is what it is. Your family history is your family history. And just because your forefathers owned slaves or enslaved people, it doesn't mean you have to follow that same pattern. And my thing is, you may not own enslaved people right now, but your policies, the laws that you are introducing and passing and enacting serve to oppress people as if we were still in the period where enslaved people were enslaved, the millions of Black people were enslaved, because we understand that there is modern day slavery. We got sex slave trafficking, we got human trafficking, we have human trafficking, which involves work in different areas. So slavery is still happening in the workplace, in our communities with sex slave trafficking. It is still happening. But we don't have the period of, well, I can't say that. I can't say that. Can't say that. So let me say this. You may not have enslaved people on a plantation or at your house, but again, your laws, your policies serve to enslave or marginalize certain groups of people. Let me get back to the divisive concepts. An individual should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or another form of psychological distress solely because of the individual's race or sex. Let me tell y'all my favorite one. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite one. Oh, I got another favorite. I got a couple of favorites, but these like, okay, so let me just tell you, this is one of my favorites. The state, or excuse me, this state, which means Tennessee, because this is the Tennessee House bill, this state or the United States is fundamentally or irredeemably racist or sexist. Let me from a podcast listeners, you can't see me, but I'm doing my teacher look right now. This country, this here United States of America, was built on racism, doggone it. What is y'all talking? I digress. Let me keep reading because my time is leaving me. The rule of the law does not exist, but instead is a series of power relationships and struggles among racial or other groups. Y'all can't tell me that these voting suppression laws that have been raining like money, like making it rain. Y'all can't tell me that these voter suppression bills that been slapped on the desk like somebody getting their paycheck money. Y'all cannot tell me that it is not based on racism. Y'all know Black and brown people and the young people voted in record numbers in 2020, in particular the presidential election, and it made y'all mad. I don't want to say that, but I ain't gonna say what I feel like saying. It made y'all mad, and so now we have these dozens of voter suppression laws that have, and y'all still, and when I say y'all, I mean the Republicans, y'all still trying to make it hard for people to vote. Voting is a constitutional right. Yet Republicans, yes, I said Republicans, are trying to make it harder for folks to vote. Lord, 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 Lord. When you're removing mail-in ballots, when you're not allowing citizens to vote the same day that they register, when you're wanting to take the ability for college students to vote on campus, when you want to take that away, it's all voter suppression. I don't know what y'all saying it is. It's y'all trying to say it's voter suppression. I ain't gonna say what y'all trying to say. Let's just say it what it is. It's voter suppression. All right, so that was that. I'm gonna add one more. Includes race or sex stereotyping. There is race and sex stereotyping. Y'all can't look. So this is what the Tennessee House has introduced. And again, there's some other highlights of this bill. I don't have the time to go through everyone. For the second or third time, you can definitely read this bill for yourself. It is House Bill 1376, Tennessee Higher Education Freedom of Expression and Transparency Act. It talks about guest speakers, you all. It gives information about employees and diversity, which I didn't get to in my reading. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. So that is happening in Tennessee. And I do have North Carolina's, because I pulled it up. Like I told you all, I read it last month and I haven't looked at it again, but I do have it pulled up and I'm going to share just a few things with you. This is House Bill 187. When I saw that 187, so the date of this is March 21st, 2023. The bill would state the General Assembly's intent that students, teachers, administrators, and other school employees employ teaching methods and procedures that do the following: respect the dignity of others, acknowledge the right of others to express differing opinions. So, opinions is my personal thoughts, my personal feelings on a subject matter or on whatever. A fact, oh, is something that has been proven, something like people being enslaved. It has been proven that Black people were enslaved. It ain't your opinion, it ain't nobody's opinion. It's actually a fact. It's actually something that has happened, and there's proof. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading because y'all can decide for yourself. Y'all hear my opinions because it's a different thing with Stephanie, but y'all are intelligent human beings. You have your own mind and your own thoughts and your own opinions, and you can, decide for yourself how this, what it means to you, or you may not have any thoughts about it, and that's okay too. So, acknowledge the rights of others to express differing opinions, foster and defend intellectual honesty, freedom of inquiry and instruction, and freedom of speech and association. The Republicans be trying to add all these flowery words. I hear, let me just read it. Let me just read it. So, public school units would be prohibited from promoting certain identified concepts. Y'all, if I was back in the classroom, I'm gonna teach what I want to teach. Oh my, I would teach what I wanted to. Black history, we doing Black history. We doing Asian American history. We doing Latina and Latinx, Latino history. We doing everybody history because what? Our history has been suppressed so much over the years. We're doing everybody history in my classroom. The legislators, if I was still there, I have invited legislators, school board members, county commissioners, city councilmen have been to my classroom to talk to my students, state leaders about Black History Month and Read Across America. I would always invite the community in at the state level and the local level, county level, city, local. And I remember y'all, and they came. I would say 95% of the individuals that I invited, they came to my classroom. They read to the kids. We did Black history teachings. We did an activity, y'all. I'm not in the classroom no more, but let me just tell you. So let me just keep reading. And I'll tell you what I would do. I told you what I did, and if I was still in the classroom, I wouldn't have changed. Come on, get me state legislators. As a matter of fact, you can come to the classroom and see what I'm doing. I'm just not there. Anywho, we're not talking about me, we're talking about this House Bill 187. Public school units would be prohibited from promoting certain identified concepts. Promote is in parentheses, would be defined as compelling students, teachers, administrators, or other school employees to affirm or profess belief in the identified concepts. The identified concepts would include the following. Now, I need to do some research because who gets to decide, like this Tennessee bill, who gets to decide what's divisive? To me, that's an opinion. Oh my God. To me, that's an opinion. You saying that this is a divisive concept, that's your opinion about it being a divisive concept. Does divisive concept mean it's divisive because it's directly affecting me, my white skin, my white family, my white Republican Party? This tip and say with Stephanie. One race or sex is inherently superior to another race or sex. I tell you, the language, y'all, the Republican playbook don't change. An individual solely by virtue of his or her race or sex is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive. An individual should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment solely or partly because of his or her race or sex. I'm not going to read all of it because you can go back and read House Bill 187, North Carolina for yourself. The last one I'm going to read. The United States was created by members of, oh my God, y'all, child. The United States was created by members of a particular race or sex y'all, for the purpose of oppressing members of another race or sex. There is historical accounts where white skinned people oppressed brown skinned. So because you don't like that history, you want to prevent educators from teaching that history. So this is why I believe it's going to happen. We're going to come to a point in at least the American education system where your children are not going to be taught by teachers, because teachers are going to get fed up and they're going to keep leaving the profession. That's just what I believe. I really believe that. And I'm going to leave that there. This House Bill 187 has some other things attached to it. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read it, but y'all, there are points in Stephanie's personal history that I would love to go back and not erase. I don't want to erase my history. I really don't, because my history has helped shape me into who I am today. But there are points in my personal history where I would love to go back and make some adjustments, make some different choices, because some periods in my past I hurt people. And I'm not proud of that even now. I have forgiven myself, and I have had individuals forgive me. And then for others who I haven't communicated with, I'm hoping that they forgave me. If they didn't, that's okay, but just for their own peace, I hope that they did. And while I'm not proud of those moments, and I'm definitely not bragging on them, I recognize it's a part of my history, and it's a part of what has helped make and shape me today. Learning, because there was one time in my life, you all, I could not forgive myself. Like when I allowed the Lord to heal my heart and deliver me from some pain of my past and from some issues I was dealing with. And I took a like real honest look at myself and the people that I've hurt, or the choices that I made that were not favorable for everybody involved. It helped me, those moments, first of all, helped me to be honest with myself. I did have a point, but I did forget it. So I'm gonna just talk this through. It did teach me to be honest. I was talking about forgiving myself. It taught me, one, to be honest with myself. Stephanie, you did that. Like you said that, and you did that. So it helped me to be honest with myself. I'm so honest with myself, right? Y'all, the Lord probably gets sick of me, like, Stephanie, I know. I like, stop telling me stuff, I know. But it helped me to sit with myself. It helped me to own the negative spaces that I created. It helped me to just see me so that I can acknowledge me, and so that I can get the help from God the Father that I needed to be whole, to be healed, to be made new, to be that new creator, that new creation, excuse me, that my creator destined me to be. It also taught me to forgive myself, because y'all, initially when I sat with myself and saw and remembered all the thing, not that I did hundreds of thousands of things to people, but there are moments in my history where I hurt people. And I, it took me a while to forgive myself. It did, because I hurt them. I felt like I should be hurt, like I should be punished for having hurt them. And so it took some time, and with it took some time for me, sitting with myself, talking to God, praying, studying the word, worshiping, praising, excuse me, worshiping and praising, that I recognize that I can forgive myself for the people that I hurt. And yes, the Lord did provide opportunities for me to connect with or see a few of the people that I hurt, and I was able to ask for forgiveness of them. For the most part, I think they forgave me, but there have been a few individuals that I haven't seen, and so I pray, I have prayed that they forgive me, and I've asked God if there's a situation where I can see them and prayerfully seek their forgiveness, then I'll do that. But if not, then I have to forgive myself and move forward. And so, again, we all have points in our history that are not that were not favorable. And if it was up to us, nobody would know about it, you know? And so white people may not like the fact that your ancestors enslaved Black people or brown skinned people. They did it for gain, hatred, anger, power, fear, but it happened. And passing legislation to say that those topics of discussion are divisive or shouldn't be taught, it's not going to change the history. It's not going to change those students from seeking answers to the questions that they have. It's not going to stop them from going on the internet, which they access more than I do, I'm sure, and looking up for themselves or going to the library and reading books about Carter G. Wilson and reading books about the civil rights movement, reading books about Coretta Scott King, reading books about um, I'm thinking of Harry Belafonte. He was an activist, is an activist, and I'm thinking of all the big names. I'm trying not to name the big names like Dr. King and Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, but it's not going to stop them. Paul Robeson, it's not going to stop them. Marcus Garvey, it's not going to stop them from Claudette Colvin, it's not going to stop them from reading about individuals in our world that have made significant impact, not just in the lives of brown skinned people, but in the lives of America just as a whole. Come on, Ida B. Wells. Come on, Mary McLeod Bethune. Come on in here, Phyllis Wheatley, Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson. Like, it's not going to erase the period of enslavement in Americans' history. And it's not going to, definitely not going to erase the amazing contributions that African Americans, that brown skinned people have contributed to this country. And it's definitely not going to stop the history of racism that existed, that prevented Black people, brown skinned people from accessing education. Come on, Ruby Bridges, and the Arkansas Nine, whose names I am so sorry that I can't think of, and the Greensboro Four, the gym, the college students from A&T. It's not going to stop that history from being known, from being taught, from being experienced. So try as you will. Um, History is history, and it's going to be learned, it's going to be taught, it's going to be known. So that's all I have to say about that. Hadn't planned to say all that, but that's all I have to say about that. My time is truly winding down, and I haven't even got to half of the news stories that I wanted to get to. I'm just going to mention this, and you can look it up for yourself. I actually pulled this up because there is one piece of this particular bill that I wanted to read, and I'm curious because I'm not a parent. I'm curious to know what parents think about this. But Iowa State has the Senate File 542 by Committee on Workforce, and it was amended and passed by the Senate on April 18, 2023. And it is a bill that gives information about youth employment, providing for a minor, driver's license interim study committee, and then making penalties applicable. So it talks about youth employment. It talks about um, the age. I didn't read the part about license, but I kind of highlighted it. So they talk about maybe changing the age of license, like the stages of license for their use, like maybe changing the age to whatever. So they're gonna, talk in this bill. It talks about forming a committee to do some study on that and kind of seeing how changing the age may or may not be good for Iowa. But I did read through this bill, and I read through the different work activities that young people at age under 14, under 15, and then 16 and 17. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's not a lot to read, but some of the um, activities that persons that are 14 years of age, they may be employed or permitted to work in like retail, food services, gasoline establishment, cashiering, selling, modeling, artwork, kitchen work, cleanup work, like, including the use of vacuums, floor waxes, maintenance. So it like highlights the different work activities that young people in this age range can have. It also highlights hours of work. It also highlights work study, like work that's done during the school day. So it talks about that as well. It talks about work activities that are not permitted. So it outlines all of that. But as I was reading through this, some of this I didn't agree with, but I don't live in Iowa, but it's just something for us to know. Because again, sometimes bills, laws that get passed in one state can affect other states because it gives somebody an idea. But what really took me aback is I'm scrolling all the way down because it's like several pages of this bill. And I think oh, I thought I had highlighted it, but let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, the Lord took me right to it. Come on, God is good. Oh, my Lord, God is good. He look out for me. I'm gonna tell you that. He look out for you too, but he look out for me. So let me get to the right. Okay, so this is section 20. I'm gonna take a sip, you all. Excuse me for just a moment. So section 20, I mean, I don't know if that is SEC dot, I'm assuming it's section 20. But then the word section is spelled out. So it's SEC.20. Section 123.49, subsections 2, paragraph F, code 2023 is amended to read as follows. It's a lot, so I'm not going to read it. But the gist of this says that that businesses, if you read up a little bit, it does talk about businesses and gives like a definition for that. But they can employ a person under 18 years of age in the sale or serving of alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises where sold. Did y'all hear what I said? Let me read up a little bit so y'all know. Okay, so that's talking about, and y'all, one thing I don't like, I don't think this bill, from what I've read thus far, I don't think it gives enough information about if these young people decide to work in these jobs as this bill allows. I don't feel like they give enough workman's comp or enough compensation for them if they're harmed on the job. It doesn't talk much about compensation for these young people. And so that it talks about not giving compensation in some of it, but it doesn't talk much, what I've read so far, about giving them compensation for like bodily harm or death or whatever the case may be. I'm going to keep reading because maybe it's down further below. This paragraph shall not apply if the employer has on file written permission from the parent, guardian, or legal custodian of a person 16 or 17 years of age for the person to sell or serve alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises where sold. However, a person 16 or 17 years of age shall not work in a bar as defined in section 142D.2. I was glad to read that. The employer shall keep a copy of the written permission on file until the person is either 18 years of age or no longer engaged in the sale of serving alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises sold. If written permission is on file in accordance with this paragraph, a person 16 or 17 years of age may sell or serve alcoholic beverages in a restaurant as defined in section 142D.2. I was glad to know that this was not giving permission for a 16 or 17-year-old to sell alcohol in a bar, but they're focusing on a restaurant. But the fact that 16 and 17-year-olds with written permission from their parents can actually sell alcohol should not even be a discussion. You're not even legal to drink alcohol. Why in the heck are you letting a 16 or 17-year-old serve? Is that happening now? Like maybe it's already happening and maybe, I don't know. But it says that a person 16 or 17 years of age may sell or serve alcoholic beverages in a restaurant. So I am not a drinker. Every time when I say every time, I mean every single time I have ever gone out with friends and we had a drink, because most of the time we went out for drinks. These my educated folk. They would have to order a drink for me because I don't know nothing about ordering no doggone drinks. And they would tell me what was in it. Like, Stephanie, I'm like, I would be looking at the drink menu, but I would be like, y'all, can y'all help me out here? Ain't none of y'all business what drinks I've had. I'm just saying that's my business. Tabitha Brown said that's my business. But I've had to have them order it for me. And so most of the people who bought us the drinks looked like they were over 21. Like, they early 20s, over 21 for sure. So I don't remember ever even being served a drink by a 16 or 17-year-old. But this is giving permission for a 16 or 17. I don't agree with this. I'm not a parent, so I'm speaking from an educator perspective, from a human being perspective. I don't think this is good. What y'all think? Y'all parents, maybe y'all parents have different thoughts about it because you have a child, you're raising that child, you're feeding, clothing, make sure that child is taken care of. So you may have a different thought than me. But from my educator mindset, 16 and 17-year-olds should not be selling or serving no dog or alcohol restaurant. That's my thought on it. I'm gonna take a sip on that. And I would love to hear your thoughts. What I'm hoping is that 16 or 17 don't be in the back drinking, and then they get on the road going home. I'm leaving that there. I just wanted y'all to, I wanted y'all to have it. So y'all read the bill. It's 16 pages. It's Senate File 542 by Committee on Workforce. It is, this is Iowa. Doggone Iowa. I don't know much about Iowa, y'all. So I might have to do some research on the state. But they have loosened their child labor laws. And now a 16 or 17-year-old can serve you and sell and serve you some alcohol. Lord have mercy. Help. We in the end times. We just in the end times. Okay, let me keep reading. So I told you I was going to give y'all some statistics on gun violence. So I'm gonna run through this. I'm gonna try to do this fairly quickly because I know I've taken up a lot of time already. So look, in Gaston County, right here in North Carolina, 6-year-old Kinsley White was shot along with other individuals allegedly because a basketball rolled into a neighbor's yard. Robert Louis Singletary is thought to be, by police, the person who did the shooting. At the time of me getting this report together, they were currently looking for Mr. Singletary. Thankfully, little Miss Kinsley White is doing all right. But I believe at the time that I was reading about this, there was still one of the adults. And I think, let me see, there were 4 individuals that were highlighted that were shot. Let's see. Let me see if I have it in my notes. I don't have it in these notes, but if I'm not mistaken, it was Kinsley, little Miss Kinsley, who is white, and the alleged shooter is Black. Which, that's neither here nor there, but we always want to talk about white police officers who shoot Black and brown children. So let's just keep it real. It was Kinsley, it was her dad, it was another female that was grazed, and then there was another male that was shot. And so I think he may be the one that I'm not going to say he was in critical condition. I don't remember what the report said because I'm going by my memory right now. So I can't remember what condition he was in, but I know Kinsley, the 6-year-old, she was released from the hospital. And so as of the time of me getting this together, they were still looking for Mr. Singletary. It was noted, because y'all know when Black folk do something, I got to highlight the negative. So it is what it is. It's what he did. In December, Mr. Singletary allegedly was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend with a mini sledgehammer. She was bleeding from her head, and he would not let her go for about 2 hours. He, excuse me, he kept her in their home, for about 2 hours. I didn't read any reports about how she's doing now. I wasn't able to look that up because I don't know her name. And I didn't look up the police report, but I pray that she's doing all right. I pray that once he, let her go, I pray that she was able to get some help. So I hope that they find, if Mr. Singletary is the one that committed this crime, I hope that they find him and that he is, um, that justice will prevail. Y'all, it's been so many shooting incidents. We all know about what's the young man's name? Um, what's the young man's name? I put his name further down, so that's what I'm looking for because I have some other shooting incidences before his. But Ralph Yarl, he went to, what was it, 115. Let me see, I did right. I did type it in. Let me just find it because I'm reading out of order now. Mm, mm, mm. All right, let me see. Okay, here it is. Woo. So he was supposed to go to 115th Terrace, but he actually went to 115th Street. He rang the doorbell, and shortly thereafter, he was shot in the head. And while he was on the ground, he was shot again in the arm. He did run to different houses to seek some help. By the time he got to the third house, they provided some help for him. Um, Y'all, that baby was shot in the head and he survived. And he's actually at home recovering. His name is Ralph, y'all. Y'all, if you look at his face, I didn't know he was 60. The pictures that I've seen in the news reports and online, I thought he was about 14. Of course, when they said he went to pick up his brothers, I knew he had to be of driving age, but just his face, he has a young looking face. And so the resident, the man who shot him, Andrew Lester, 84, what did he say? He feared for his life. Let me make sure of what he said. Let me see if I even put it in here. Let's see. So I actually didn't add it in. Exactly what he's. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I just got to find it because, like I said, I'm reading out of order. So Andrew Lester, he told the police that he lives alone, and in quotes that he was scared to death. Now, y'all, if y'all look at Ralph Yarl, his face is so innocent looking. I mean, I know this right here, this brown skin is enough. You see brown skin and fear for what, fear automatically enters into the hearts of some individuals. But his face is so young looking. So anyway, he said he, quote unquote, he feared for his life. Now, this happened in, this happened in Kansas. They are a stand your ground state, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's going to be able to use that defense or not, but I think it's a stand your ground state. It is noted that Ralph Yarl, that when he was shot in the head, that it did crack his skull. And like I said, he was shot in the arm. He was able to get up, run to the neighbor's house. He got some help. I do want you all to know that Ralph Yarl is a junior who takes mostly college level courses. And that was the superintendent that said that, or that shared the information, I should say. Ralph is a member of the Jazz and Competition Band. This past summer, prior to his junior year, he was chosen to attend the Missouri Scholars Academy, which is a residential program for youth who are academically gifted. Ralph loves science. Along with his music, he loves science, and he wants to study chemical engineering. He was going to pick up his twin brothers at a friend's house, but he got the address wrong. Did it? Gun violence. The man, in the reports that I read, the man did not ask him any questions. He didn't ask what you here for or what. So look, y'all, let me tell y'all something. When somebody comes to my door, I don't immediately answer. I don't. I'm looking out the window to see the car that's in my driveway or like on the side of the road. So I do have a neighbor that cuts my grass. He always parks on the side of the driveway. He doesn't come into my driveway. And so I'm always looking to see who it is. Because I remember, y'all, the police came to my house. I think my first year here, they came to my door. And before I opened it, who is you? The police, what you want? what you want? And they told me what they wanted. And I did not, did I open the screen door? I opened the main door. Because mainly when people come and I don't know them, I'll open my main door, but I'll keep the screen door like locked because it's locked. I'll keep it closed. Did I open the door for the police when they came? And they had a valid reason for coming. Like I knew why they were there, why they were here. I can't remember if I opened the screen door for them or not. It was one black cop, one white cop, and they were young. Like they looked like they may have been maybe mid-20s, maybe early, maybe late 20s, but they were young. They were too young when they came to the door. I have my pajamas on, y'all. I'm about to go to bed. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I ask questions before I even unlock the. I'm like, who is it? I'm looking at the door. So he saw this brown face, and he immediately went into threat. This person is a threat to me. Gun violence. All right, so that was Ralph Yarl. In Nashville on April 12th, a Walgreens employee, Materius Boyd, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, he fired his semi-automatic, y'all, at a woman that was suspected to be shoplifting. Y'all, so one of his fellow employees let him know, these two ladies are stealing. He said they're stealing from the cosmetic section of Walgreens. And so Mr. Boyd starts reporting them. I probably would have called the police if I was an employee there, but I don't know what their policies and procedures are at Walgreens because I've never worked there. And so he starts reporting. I don't know if he was a supervisor or not because the news reports didn't say, but I probably would have got a supervisor and or called the police depending on the policies. Anyway, he reported them. When they left, the two ladies left, he followed them out the store. Yes, I said out the store. He followed them out the store to their car. So they at the trunk putting their bags in, and he approaches them at their car at the trunk. So the lady who was shot and happened to be 7 months pregnant, y'all, she turns around and she sprays mace. If a strange man coming up to me, if I ain't spraying mace, I'm throwing hands. I mean, come on, somebody. He starts shooting. The other lady took the woman that was shot to the hospital. They delivered the baby via cesarean, and at the time that I looked up this report, they were both in critical condition. I'm hoping by now that both mom and the baby are doing all right. But Walgreens, they did dismiss this employee, so he, according to their statement, he is no longer employed at Walgreens. Charges have not yet been filed at the time that I did the research on this report. Charges were not filed at that time. And there was investigation and discussion from the police department as to whether charges would be brought against Mr. Boyd. But the young lady's name is Travansha Ferguson. Travansha Ferguson. I hope I pronounced your name right as well. Gun violence. I mean, all right, I think I got one more, y'all. I think I got one more. In Texas, 2 teens were shot at for getting in the wrong car. Now, let me tell y'all something. I have gone to the wrong car before. I didn't get in, but my car is very similar. Like they released a lot of cars that look like my car at the time I got my car. And I have walked up to the wrong car. And so I know my car and I know about where I'm parked. I usually park far away. But it so happened it was my car and another car that looked right there together. And so I walk in and I have something to see in my car, so I know it's mine. But I was walking to it and then I looked, I was like, no, let me walk around because that ain't my car. And so I've never gotten into anybody else's car, but these teenagers, they were at, I didn't write down where they were at. I don't remember where they were at, but wherever they were at, they traveled to get there. They could have been doing some exercising or something. They were cheerleaders, or people, cheerleaders. And the owner of this particular establishment said that they do come, to this particular establishment. So the one young lady got into the wrong car. She apologized to the car owner or whoever was in the car. She did apologize. So she moved to get into the right car of her friend. They're driving away, and this man, his name is, or the suspected, Perotello Rodriguez Jr. He shot at the car as they were driving away, and two of the teens were shot. Two of them were shot. This gun violence, I told y'all to be, I'm not black, I'm informing. This gun violence is out of control. I mean, so look, so there's a nonprofit called Gun Violence Archive, and I have quoted from Gun Violence Archive before, if I'm not mistaken, a year or two ago when I was talking about gun violence then. So it is reported on their website, Gun Violence Archive. This is their information, so you can check it out. This information was published April 20th, 2023, so today. And I want it noted that this is a nonprofit and it is considered evidence-based research, okay? It's considered evidence-based research. Y'all, take a pause. I'm gonna give you some numbers. If you don't want to hear these numbers about gun violence, I encourage you to stop watching the broadcast, walk away. If you are gonna listen, just brace yourself, okay? Because these numbers are heartbreaking. In the United States, there have been a total number of gun violence deaths, all causes, and I'm gonna break down the causes a little bit in just a minute, but all total number of gun violent deaths, 12,715. Homicide, murder, unintentional, and the DGU. I didn't look up what that is. Death by gun. Look it up. Y'all have to look that one up. I'm sorry that I didn't look it up. I knew what the GB meant, but I didn't look up the DGU. 5,455. Suicide, 7,260. Total number of injuries, 9,940. Mass shootings, 165. Mass murders, 16. Number of children ages 0 to 11 that were killed by gun violence, 77. 182 injured. Number of teens ages 12 through 17 killed, 453. Injured, 1,097. I did not get information about the shooting that happened at the birthday party, the 16-year-old birthday party. I can't even remember where it happened at, but that's another incident of gun violence. And it goes on to talk about officer involved shooting, suspect involved shooting. So you can get that information again on Gun Violence Archive. You can get that information there. I know what the Second Amendment of the Constitution says. I do not know our forefathers because obviously I wasn't even thought about in the 1700s. But at the time that they wrote and signed the Constitution of the United States, or the US Constitution, and they noted well-regulated militia. I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think that they intended for individuals to just own guns. I don't think that was their intent. The fact that people own guns doesn't bother me not one bit. If you have a permit to own a gun, it doesn't bother me one bit. Gun ownership and going through the proper channels, the Republican Party wants to talk about legal, people legally voting. Well, I believe that there should be, or there are legal processes by which to own guns. And I understand that where there's legal processes, that there are illegal ways to get things. I get that. I understand that. But I know that some states have loosened their gun laws for whatever reason. I have my opinions about that, but for whatever reason, I would like to see our Senate and our House talk about gun reform, not gun reform that will take away your guns. Keep your guns if you have them legally. If you have your gun permits, your concealed carry permit, keep your guns. I really don't care. But I feel like there should be something, some law, something legislation that makes it harder for people with backgrounds such as domestic violence backgrounds to obtain a gun. We were talking about the young man who allegedly shot at individuals because a basketball rolled in his yard, and he did have an arrest for attacking his girlfriend. Is gun reform the answer? Y'all, I don't know. I genuinely, honestly, I don't know. I believe it's a start in having conversations about what we can do to curb gun violence in the United States of America. Like school shootings, like how many more children have to lose their life before our legislators have a honest conversation about gun violence, about gun reform, about making it harder to obtain a gun for individuals with a criminal background, as opposed to making it easier for folks to get guns. I was reading a post on social media from a young lady who said her husband had inherited some guns from a family member who passed away. And she noted that she noticed her husband immediately start feeling fear, something that that wasn't happening before, and she felt like it was related to the guns in the house. That's not everybody's story. I understand that, but oh man, I can't quite understand, because even the Walmart, I mean, excuse me, not Walmart, Walgreens employee, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he said he feared for his life. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, he said, and it's in quotes, he was in fear. Now, I don't know how mace makes a person afraid, even though it's gonna burn your eyes. That's gonna burn. I'm not quite sure where we got to a point where we're gonna grab a gun before we have a conversation. I think about Ralph Yarl and the man who shot him, Andrew Lester. He was in his house. I'm assuming the doors were locked, because I feel like pretty much everybody, or almost everybody, locks their doors once they're in the house. They lock the doors, for the night, for the day, whatever. The doors are locked. I feel like we reach for guns first instead of humanity. And if he felt like that man was going to rob him, like he rang the, first of all, he rang the doorbell. He's standing there waiting. If he wanted to rob you, bro, he wouldn't have rang no doorbell. But why not act like I told you all a little bit ago, I talk to people through the door. If you come and I don't know you, I'm talking to you. Sometimes I talk to you through my screen door and the main door. Who is it? I'll talk through the whole, all both doors. Excuse me, I'll talk through both doors if I don't know who it is. Because I actually had somebody that was walking our neighborhood. He was selling something, and so I didn't see him. So I'm at my door, screen door locked, front door locked. Who is it? And he told me who he was. And then I opened the door, but I didn't open my screen. So instead of grabbing your gun first, who is it? Why are you here? What you doing here? If he that much in fear, get you a, what do they have now? Get you the I'm not gonna say the company's name, but the devices that attach to your doorbell or attached to your front door where a person rings the doorbell and the camera pops or people are moving and that motion triggers an alert or however it works. Y'all, let me tell you, I'm gonna push pause. It happened in North Carolina, you all. There was a man that was on his hammock on his, I'm assuming it was a back porch, but he was on a hammock and a bear, y'all. Was it a brown bear or a black bear? I couldn't tell in the picture, and I don't remember if the report said it was a black bear, but the bear, the bear came up on his porch, and so his whatever device he has was recording this interaction because there was movement. So it starts to, of course, it's picking this up, and so you could see the man on his hammock. His eyes was closed. He was chilling, and you could see, I guess it made a beep or something because the bear was on him and he didn't move. And so I'm assuming once you get maybe a certain feet, it rings or something. And as soon as it rang, he jumped and he saw the bear and he's like this. He is still. He looking at the bear and the bear's looking at him. I'm sure he was praying. So him and the bear looking at each other, y'all. And then the bear turns around and runs away. Y'all, child would never be out of my I would never be out of my porch. If I was out of my porch, y'all, I would have like blocks or something. Y'all, I was scared watching the interaction because I think they showed it on the news, if I'm not on the local news. So because they showed it on the local news, I knew the man because they said that this, a bear. So I knew that whoever this person was, that they were okay because they wouldn't have showed it on the local news. But y'all, I was like clutching my pearls just watching this man and this bear eyeing each other because we didn't know what the bear was gonna do. That bear could have attacked that man, could have mauled him, could have killed him, whatever. But the Lord was with him. The Lord was with him. And that bear took off. And like I said, it was caught on his I'm gonna say his little surveillance, whatever. It was caught there. So anyway, that was a side note. So if you're that much in fear, get you some surveillance, get you some of the doorbell situations that let you see who's coming up to your porch. Gun violence is a lot. Okay, y'all, I'm really done. I told you all that I was going to talk about Black mortality rate of Black women. I'm not going to talk about that night. I did have some information on it, and I decided I wanted to spend a little bit more time on that because even though we had Black Maternal Week last week, it was the 11th through the 16th, started last week, went into this week. I think it's a conversation that we can have every day of every month of every year of every decade of every century because the numbers are staggering with Black women losing their lives giving birth to babies for various reasons. I'm listening to Black women talk about this. Oftentimes their doctors did not take their concerns or their pain seriously. There's this thought that Black women can tolerate a high dose of pain. Y'all, but I'm gonna get into it a little bit later, y'all. Okay, I'll get into that a little bit later. So I'm gonna end the broadcast now. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. To the YouTube listeners, to the podcast listeners, I really do appreciate coming into your home, into your car, wherever you might be. I do love sharing what's on my mind concerning what's happening in the world, and just sharing what's on my mind about my own life. All right, you all. So I've already given you an announcement about the virtual lifestyle series. I don't think I want to share any other news. I encourage you to like this episode. I encourage you to go to the virtual lifestyle series and listen to the rebroadcast about our financial health, our mental health, and about our re-establishing, refocusing, reassessing whatever you need to do. The information is there right here on the Stephanie Humphrey channel, right? So you all have a wonderful evening. I pray that you have a wonderful weekend. I pray that the Lord blesses you real, real good. I pray that you get the rest that you need this weekend. If someone is asking you, if you had planned to just rest this weekend, take care of you, and someone asks you to do something, it is okay to say no. You can say, Minister Stephanie Humphrey, tell me that I can tell you no. I will take the blame for it, y'all. It is okay to say no so that you can take care of you. So take care of you, love on you, take care of your family, take care of your community. Just, y'all, just be safe. Be safe, y'all. Be safe out there. Stay prayed up, y'all. I watched a PBS documentary called Prayed Up. I think Stay Prayed. I think it's called Stay Prayed Up, and it's from a gospel singer right here in North Carolina that I did not know. The was it the Blanchetts? Is it the Blanchetts? I can't remember, but y'all, it was a really good documentary. I'm glad I watched it. I learned so much about people and just people and history and different things like that on PBS. So it was Stay Prayed Up. So y'all, let's stay prayed up. Let's stay read up in the Word of God. Let's stay focused on our surroundings. Let's be discerning. Let's, like I said, pay attention to your surroundings. But let's just be aware. Let's just be safe. And let's just, like the young folks say, stay woke, pay attention to what is going on, not just in your community and your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on in your local government, your city, in your county, in your state. Pay attention to what's going on in the world, y'all, because there is a lot happening in our world today. So let's pay attention, y'all. Let's pay attention. Let's stay safe. Y'all, okay, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you soon. Y'all be blessed.